Okay, good morning, everyone. Today we're going to start our discussion on time series analysis. Okay, so time series analysis is a very important subject or topic especially in finance, because most of the data that we use or that we examine or evaluate are time series in nature, whether it be economic data, price data, stock prices data, stock returns data. Most of them are tied up to a type of time series. So it's very important for us to be familiar with how to navigate, how to model, how to analyze time series data. I provided you with some references. Okay, kindly go through this on your own. These are very good references. For example, itong sa Pennsylvania State University, yung online stat program nila. Okay, they have a very good reference material. So I know that our time is limited, but it does not prevent you from going outside of our regular time frame, and then doing some research, doing some studies on your own. It will help you a lot, class, especially when you go to your thesis. So there are several models, class, that we can use for time series. One of the most popular one is what we call ARIMA model, and we'll explain what an ARIMA model is as we go along. Okay, so here you can see here an AR, autoregressive equation. I leave you, class, to apologies. I leave you to explore these references. So let's load first these packages. I'll give you a few minutes, a few seconds to load it. If in case it's not loading, that means you don't have that package yet. So load it, please. I load this now. And once you're done loading the packages, please. Okay. Let's see. You might have some problems with this TSM. If you have some problems with the TSM, there's a remedy for that. If not, class, just put it outside first. Okay, create a new code chunk and then put library TSM, and we'll get back to that. Anyway, this package, class, we're not going to use it for now. For now, class. This is from Kevin Kodzi. Okay. So if you encounter some difficulties with TSM, I suggest, class, you delete this from this one and then just create a new code chunk and then copy library TSM to remind yourself that you need to go back to that. Okay. All right. So I'll give you a few seconds. Please respond in the chat box and say yes if you're done with loading these packages. Okay. Thank you, Seth. Let's wait for the others. Josiah, thank you. Dan, thank you. Okay, thank you. Lawrence. Mings, thank you. All right, thank you so much. Let's continue our discussion. Okay, as I said here, in case you are having problems with the TSM package, you need to install first the remotes package so that you can access the source of the TSM package. It's housed in Kevin Kotze's GitHub site. Okay, just in case you had difficulty with that. But since we're not going to use it at the moment, that this is for the future, it's good for us to be ready already. Okay, I provided you here with some very brief discussion about what time series analysis is. So it's both a science and an art. We extract some meaningful insights from the data, from this time series data. Okay, so we're going to take a look at the structure of the time series, the characteristics, and take a look at patterns that it exhibits so that we can forecast it. Okay, so that's one of the primary goals of doing modeling for time series, to forecast. So whether it's data about, let's say, let's say, macroeconomic data, GDP, GNP, inflation. Okay, so these are data that are linked to time. So what's important is that we are able to analyze the data and predict the data. Okay, so how do we predict the data class? Then we have to create a just like regression class. Okay, we have to create a model making use of regression type approach. And an example of that class is what we call ARIMA. ARIMA is a special type of regression, okay, which we'll see in a while. So ARIMA class means autoregressive integrated moving average. Okay, so it has two components, actually three. You have the AR component, the autoregressive. You have the MA component, the moving average, and then you have the integrated. Okay, integrated class. All right, let's start first with the AR component class. AR class stands for auto-regressive. And by definition class, when you say auto, it means self, autobiography, auto sign. Okay, you write your life story, your own life story, autobiography, auto-regressive. So it means class, you are regressing the time series based on its past, its own values. Okay, so that's what this means class. So perhaps the value of today was related to the value of yesterday. So if we can come up with a data that that uh, that comprises of all the yesterday's value, then we can use that as a predictor of the values of today. Okay, so let me just illustrate that very quickly. Okay, so for example, you have your time series here. I'll call it y sub t. Then you have your values here. You have several values here, class. And then perhaps we can create this data y sub t minus 1. Okay, which means that, let's suppose that this is the latest value. This is the latest value. Then y sub t minus 1 will be this value here. Okay, the value yesterday. And the next value here will be the value of yesterday. And the second to the last class, the value here will be the value of yesterday. Okay, so that means class, we're creating an object y sub t minus 1, which comprises of all the yesterday's prices, all of last week's prices, or all of last month's prices, etc. And you notice that your y sub t minus 1 will lack one value. If there are 100 values here, your y sub t minus 1 will only be 99. Okay? Why? Because this value will be absent, will be missing, because there are no previous, there are no yesterdays. There is no yesterday as far as this data is concerned. So we can now model y sub t. Y sub t will be a function of y sub t minus 1. Right? So we will now be creating a model, a regression model, where the predictor is the past values. Okay? So what's this class? It's the values of the y sub t itself. Only that it's past values. So this is what we call an AR model. Auto-regressive class. So ganun lang yung class. It just means like that. Auto-regressive means you are creating a model for your time series using the past values. Okay? All right. Pause for a while, class. Is that clear, class? Is that brief introduction to the AR process clear? Could I have your chat, please? Okay. Thank you, Moises. Thank you. Okay, Godwin. Thank you. Okay. How about the others? Okay, good. Good. Thank you. Thank you, class. All right, let's continue. All right, so let's first take a look at an AR1 process. An AR1 process class is the model that I described a while ago, where we use lag1, LAG class, lag1, the previous one period. So if it's daily data, the data yesterday. Okay. And I provided you class with the LaTeX formula for that. Okay, let's print what this is, class. What is the LaTeX representation? Here, class. Y sub t is equal to a certain constant. This is your intercept class, right? Notice that this is exactly a regression model class. In fact, it's a simple linear regression model. This one is our beta, but normally for time series, we use phi. Here, phi, okay? Phi times 1, phi underscore 1, and then multiplied by y sub t minus 1, and then plus your residual. Okay? So what do you notice about this class? It's just a regression model, a simple linear regression model, where your predictor class is your y sub t minus 1. So they are itself the values of your y sub t taken at a lag, in this case, 1 lag. Okay, so you can also see in others they use y sub t is equal to phi null plus phi 1 y sub t minus 1 plus epsilon sub t. Okay, so this is nothing new to you actually, class, because this is just a simple linear regression. Okay, however, the regressors are not actually exogenous. They are essentially, class, they are the values of y sub t itself. Hence the term auto, self-regression. Okay, so I hope that's clear, class. Okay, sorry. All right, now let's go here. There are certain assumptions, class, for this model. Unlike a simple linear regression, class, where your, by the way, class, y sub t is a time series, okay? All right? Yung autoregressive, class, this is a model for a time series model. It doesn't make sense, class, to use this for a cross-sectional data, right? Why will you use the previous value? You have your data set, maybe it's arranged alphabetically. Then can you use the previous value to predict the value of the arrangement of your data? Of course, that's ridiculous. AR models are specifically for time series. Okay, now there are certain parameters. Well, we discussed this already. Your epsilon sub t class should be individually and independently distributed, normal distribution with zero mean and constant variance. Okay, so this is what it means, class. Epsilon sub t, identically and individually distributed, class. Normally distributed with zero mean and constant variance. Okay, so this means that the errors are independently distributed with a normal distribution that has zero mean and a constant variance. Okay, I hope you're able to read this, class. And then take a look at this, class, no? How I wrote it, epsilon sub t. This tilde here is your, okay? Yung overset, class, IID, is the one on top. Then this one, slash simulate, class, this one. It simulates, so that's the code for that in LaTeX. Then you know this n 0, comma, slash sigma squared underscore w. Okay, by now, class, you should be quite familiar with this terminology, but we kept on adding, class, itong overset. We only met this for the first time. Overset itong IID. And also this simulate, no? So this is as one. This one, class. It's this one. All right. Okay, then the errors are independently distributed with a normal distribution, zero mean and constant variance. Now, let's take a look at the properties of epsilon sub t. Okay, epsilon sub t class, epsilon sub t, should be independent of your y sub t. Okay, your residuals class should be independent of your predictors. Okay, in multiple linear regression class, diba, one of the tests that we should make is that are the residuals, okay, correlated with your predictors? If they're correlated with your predictors class, then we have a problem. We call it exogeneity problem. And that has to be addressed. No? Okay. Now what does this say? What does this say, class? Ito. Phi1. As far as your AR1 process is concerned, Phi1 cannot just be any number. Unlike for regression class yung beta natin, di ba? It can be any number. It can be any real number. But yeah, it can be a but mostly, yeah, real number class. Okay, real number siya. So, sa time series class, yung Phi1, it cannot just be any number. So this class tells us that the absolute value of Phi1 here has to be less than 1. Okay, in order for the time series has to be weakly stationary. We'll discuss what stationarity in time series means, okay, in a while. So what does that mean, class? Absolute value of Phi1 should be less than 1. It means, class, that your phi cannot be more than 1 and cannot be less than -1. So it should be between -1 and 1. So it can be anywhere here. Cannot be 1, cannot be -1. Okay? So your phi will never result into a value of 1.5. It can be negative 0.8. It can be positive 0.1. For as long as it's between -1 and +1. So that's what you mean by absolute value of Phi1 should be less than 1. Okay? If you're getting a value of Phi1 to be equal to 2.5, for example, then something's wrong with your model. Hindi pa pwede yun. Your Phi1 should be between -1 and 1. Okay? All right. Are we clear, class, on AR1, on the AR1 process? We're just setting the equation first, class. In the chat box, class, please, if clear yung concept ng AR1. Thank you, Moises. How about the others? Okay, good. Thank you. Okay, now let's go to our AR2 class. So if you know AR1 class, any type of AR class, any ARP function, so you call it class ARP. ARP. P can be any counting number. So where P is can be from 1 up to infinity. But of course, it makes no sense to create an AR1 million model. If you have daily data, how can the data 1 million days ago have any bearing with the data today? Okay, so if P is equal to 2, class, P is equal to 2, then you have AR2. So what does AR2 mean? AR2 means you're regressing your time series based on log 1 and log 2. Both log 1 and log 2. So how will the equation look like, class? Your equation will now look like this. Here, class. So you have your time series, your dependent variable is equal to a certain constant plus, this is your beta 1 times x sub 1. Okay, you're regressing your time series based on its log 1, okay, log 1 data, and then plus phi 2, y sub t minus 2 is your log 2 data. So let me just quickly illustrate that. So suppose you have your data, your y sub t. Let's just give an example of, let's say, your values are 10, 8, 9, 10, 11, 11, 12. Okay, so this is your time series y sub t. Okay, what will be your y sub t minus 1? Your y sub t minus 1 will be the day before. So this will become 11. With reference to 12, the day before is 11. And then this is also 11. And this should be equal to 10. This should be equal to 9. This should be equal to 8. And this should be equal to 10. Okay, so this is your y sub t minus 1. But you can also add y sub t minus 2. Perhaps your time series is not only affected by the values yesterday, but also the values 2 days ago. So you can look at this one or you can look at this one. It's the same. So the previous value to 11 is 11. 11, the previous value is 9. 9, the previous value is 8. 8, the previous value is 10. Okay? So in our model class, you'll only be able to use this. Only this one. Because these have missing values. If you recall, if you have missing values, then you cannot create a model out of that. So this will be our data. This is your y sub t. This is your y sub t minus 1. This is your y sub t minus 2, and so on and so forth. You can expand this to ARP. Okay? Once again, class, kindly please confirm, class, if you're able to follow along, if you're able to understand what we're doing. Okay, no questions? All right. So we have looked at AR1 process. We have looked at AR2 process, no? Autoregressive. So next time, class, if you forget, class, what is an AR1 model, autoregressive model, just remember that auto means self, okay? We are regressing the data itself, y sub t, to using its past values. All right. For AR2 process, this is the condition. It also has a condition. The condition is that the sum of phi1 plus phi2 should be less than 1. Okay? And there are other conditions, class, not only this. So let's take a look at this. Here. So this is for an AR2 model. Number 1, phi sub 2, absolute value of phi sub 2 should be less than 1. Okay? So strict imposition that just phi 2 itself cannot be less than -1, it cannot be more than 1. And then also the sum, phi sub 2 plus phi sub 1 should be less than 0, and phi sub 2 minus phi sub 1 should be less than 0. Any violation of that, class, will mean that your model is not valid for an AR2 process. Okay, so in general, class, this is the ARP process. So you have your constant plus x sub t minus 1. You call it RARP, no? X sub t minus 2, t minus 3, and then dot, t minus p minus 1, and then x t minus p, plus your epsilon, plus your residual. Okay, so this is your ARP. AR5, class. means we have x sub t minus 1, x sub 2 minus 2, x sub t minus 3, x sub t minus 4 until xt minus 5. So that's our model if it's an ARP. All right. Okay, pause for a while, class, and let that sink in. And if you're okay, class, no questions? Did you understand the model, class? Okay, good. Let's wait for the others to confirm if they understood, class, the ARP process. Okay, thank you. All right, then let's go to the MAQ process, class. First, we have your AR process, then we have our MAQ process. MAQ process is moving average, okay? MA1 is lag 1. So how does this differ from your MA process? Your from your AR process, your MA process is based on past residuals. Okay? X sub t is equal to theta null plus epsilon sub t plus theta epsilon sub t minus 1. Okay? So you can see here that we are now regressing our time series x sub t. Okay, to make it consistent, I'll just use here y sub t. Y sub t, of course, it doesn't matter whether it's y sub t or x sub t. Y sub t is a certain constant plus your residual now plus your residual yesterday multiplied by a certain constant. All right? So if you have a combination class, MA2, is there a condition, by the way, for the theta coefficient? I'll leave you, class, to explore, research. If phi1 has a condition, class, what about theta 1? Theta 1, the parameter, class, for an MA1 process, this one. Does it have a condition just like yung phi1 natin for AR process? Okay, so I'd like you to find out, class, what's the answer to that. So MA2, class, MA2. Did I give this, class, MA? Not yet, no? Class? Did I? Oh, you're not speaking out. Not yet. Okay. Nobody called my attention. Okay, let me just insert some more. Here, Control C. There. All right. So MAQ, class, MA1, this one, MA1, you have lag 1 of your residuals. Okay, theta 1, epsilon sub t minus 1. For MA2, how does it look like? MA2 is just the same as MA0 and 2. Okay, because the generic formula, class, is ARMA P $Q. Comma Q, where P is the lag of your AR process and Q is the lag of your MA process. So an MA2 is just the same as an MA02. No lag for your AR process. Okay, so how do you write that? Theta 0 plus epsilon sub t, this one, plus theta 1 times epsilon t minus 1. And then plus theta 2 epsilon t minus 2. Okay, so in general class, a MAQ process is, how does it look like? Here, T minus Q class. T minus 1, and 1 here is the lag. So if it's an MA1 process, then it should end here. If it's an MA2, it should end here, but including T minus 1 and T minus 2. If it's MAQ, then it's T minus Q. And then you subtract 1 here, T minus Q minus 1 for the previous. All right, so that's the model class if you're doing MA, no? MA. All right, pause for a while, class. Okay, any questions so far? Can you confirm, class, if okay, if you understood? Okay, thank you. Okay, no questions? Anyone who's having a problem? Okay. All right, let's now go to another type of an MA ARMA process, and it's called an ARMA PQ. So this is a combination of the past values of itself and the past residuals, ARMA PQ. So how does an ARMA 1-1 look like? So we have C, where this is P sub 0, plus Phi1 x t minus 1, plus your error term, plus your theta 1, epsilon t minus 1. Okay, so if I run this, okay, take a look, class. Your time series x is equal to a certain constant plus this is your AR component, class. Diba? Phi1 times x sub t minus 1. Then for the MA component, it always starts with epsilon sub t plus theta 1 epsilon t minus 1. So this is your ARMA 1-1 model. On the other hand, an ARMA 2-1 will look like this. 2-1 class, no? 2 lags for the AR process and 1 lag for the MA process. So how does your model look like? A certain constant C, okay, plus your lag 1 for your AR1, lag 2 for your AR2, and then plus 1 lag for your MA process. The epsilon sub t will always be there. When you're writing an ARMA process, it's better to start with epsilon sub t and then plus epsilon sub t minus 1, epsilon t minus 2, etc. And further, class, how does a okay, I sorry, I skipped this, no? So an ARMA 2-2 class, okay, I surmise, I suppose that you know this already. Phi1, Phi2, and then plus your error term. It's best to put the error term here, class, before the other residual past values. Epsilon sub t minus 1, epsilon sub t minus 2. Since this is a 2-2 model class, 2 lag values of y sub t and 2 lag values of your residuals. Okay. All right, class, clear so far? Clear so far ba, class? Yung AR process, MA process, ARMA PQ process. Okay. In fact, any model class, as long as defined yung P at saka Q, you should be easily able to write the model for that. Hello, class. Are we okay so far with the ARMA PQ? Okay. All right. Thank you. So let's now, okay, may I ask you, class, what ARMA model is this? What model is this? Is this an ARMA model? May I ask you to please answer in the chat box? Okay, please answer there. What do you think this model is? X sub t is equal to c plus phi2 x sub t minus 2 plus epsilon sub t plus theta 1 epsilon sub t minus 1. What is that model? ARMA 2-1, Moise, okay. How about the others? ARMA 2-1, Dan, okay. ARMA 2-1, yeah, okay, good. Thank you so much. You're correct. You're all correct. Yeah, this is an ARMA 2-1 class. Why is it an ARMA 2-1? Okay, take note, class, that there's no t minus 1, right? Generally, when we say ARMA 2-1, there should be a phi 1 x sub t minus 1. Okay, why is it missing, class? Okay, it was not written here because, let's say, I knew all along that phi 1 will be equal to 0. So I knew that since phi 1 will not be equal to, will be 0, okay, then I did not write that here anymore. Okay. So whoever has the highest log will prevail, class. So this is, you're correct, an ARMA 2, because there are 2 logs here for your x sub t, and then 1 log for your for your residual. So that's why this is an ARMA 2-1. Very good, very good. Thank you so much. That was excellent on your part. Okay, then in general class, we have an ARMA PQ. Sorry, ARMA PQ class, ito. What's an ARMA PQ? Here, P. So T minus P class, di ba? Okay, take note class, pag ARMA, di ba, pag ARMA 2, T minus 1, T minus 2. Whatever your P here should appear here sa last. And then the phi class would be phi sub P, x sub T minus P. Log P to class, di ba? And then your residual plus, here is Q. It should be the last, no? T minus Q. And then theta Q. So in a nutshell, class, that's your ARMA process, ARMA PQ. Now, I said that there's another, the full model is actually your ARIMA, autoregressive integrated moving average. And the way you write it is ARIMA PDQ. Now, the D here, class, means it's a difference time series. You're differencing it. Let me explain, class. So ARIMA, no? PDQ, suppose it's ARIMA 1, 1, 1. It means that what you're modeling is a difference time series. Let me quickly illustrate. No? Let me illustrate it here. Bakit? Ay, sorry. Ito pala. Okay. So where was I? What was I trying to? Yung difference, no? So let's say you have an ARIMA ARIMA 111. Okay, now this is totally different class from an ARIMA 101. So an ARIMA 101 class is just an ARMA 11. Kasi wala naman differencing. Now this is critical class. This is critical because modeling an ARIMA 111 indicates that you are changing your data. Okay, you are changing your data. Let me illustrate. For example, we have here y sub t. Okay, let's say 10, 8, 9, 8, 11, 10, 9, for example. So this class is your y sub t. Okay. Now a difference data, so we can denote it as delta yt or dyt class. What does that mean, class? It means that you are differencing. What do you mean by differencing? You subtract the value today from the value yesterday. Okay, let's suppose that the level of differencing is 1. So it will be 9 minus 10, negative 1. 10 minus 11, negative 1. 11 minus 8, negative 3. Ay, sorry, 9 minus a negative 1, 10 minus 11 minus 8 is positive 3, sorry. So this is negative 1. 9 minus 8 is 1. 8 minus 10 is negative 2. Okay, nothing here anymore. No previous value. All right. So, class, this is your difference data. Okay, this is your difference data. So what we're modeling now is, okay, this data. And we create class. Okay, so let's suppose that let's call the difference data as dyt. So therefore, this model will now become dyt, okay, is equal to a certain constant class. Let's just call it C plus 1, right? Phi 1 dy t minus 1, okay, plus epsilon t plus theta 1, okay, error t minus 1. So you notice now that the variable is now changed. It's no longer y sub t. It's now a totally different variable. It's now the difference y sub t. Okay, so that's what we mean by this one, class. Okay, so when will it be the same as ARMA 11, class? Will this ARMA 11 and this ARIMA 111, can they be the same? Yes, class, yes. First, itong ARIMA 111 na to, what we are looking at is this one, y sub t. Okay, and then we're told we have to difference y sub t. That's why we have here dy sub t. For this ARIMA 11 to be the same as ARIMA 111, then the object that we're now modeling is not y sub t, but already this one, dy sub t. Okay, so you got me, class? ARIMA 111, we are modeling y sub t. However, we have to difference it first. We have to convert y sub t into a dy sub t. So now the effect of the middle number here, the differencing, will change the data into this one. Okay, so my question was, when will this be the same as this one? It will be the same as this one if the ARIMA here, ARMA 11, okay, if your data is this one. Okay, but if your ARMA 11 refers to this one class, your y sub t, then they're not the same class. Why again? Because ARMA 11, in this case, if you're modeling this class, the modeling of this one will be different from the modeling of dy sub t. Look, the values are different, diba? Okay, so ARIMA 111, which is based on this one class, y sub t, And the transformation has to be made, i-difference siya. Kaya in effect class, ang minomodel, what we're really modeling is this one. Okay, but the anchor is y sub t. Okay, this is the data, then difference the data. That's why it's converted into this one. But if it's an ARMA 1-1 class, no differencing, and for this ARIMA 1-1-1 to be the same as ARMA 1-1, ARMA 1-1 has to be referring to this one, the dyt. And ARIMA 1-1-1 has to be referring to y sub t. But you'll get the same answer class. Okay, why? Because ARIMA 1-1-1 will result into modeling dy sub t. Okay, because of the differencing here. On the other hand, ARMA 1-1 will result into modeling this one. So for ARMA 1-1 class, we are using this data. For ARIMA 1-1, ARIMA 1-1-1, we're using this data. Why are they the same class? Because yung ARIMA 1-1-1, you still have to difference your data, which results into this. Okay? All right. Again, pause for a while, class. Is that clear, class? Kindly chat, please, class. I hope that I made it clear. If you need some more explanation, then please tell me. Yes, okay, good. Others, please. I'll give you a few seconds. Okay. Good. All right. So thank you so much. At least we have covered, class, the concept of of AR process, MA process, ARMA process, ARIMA 1 process. Okay. So what are the steps, class, in modeling your data? Okay, your time series. Now, a very powerful tool, class, as we have mentioned a while ago, is using ARIMA PDQ or ARMA PQ. Okay. However, there are certain requirements. Okay, I hope I can just illustrate this, class. So I would, class, that you read this, no? Itong portion na to. You don't have this yet? Right. I'll share. So I'll just include this. So steps. Okay, I don't know. Let's say up to stationary. Control C. Chat. Control V. Okay, good. And then this one. Control C. Control V. Wow. Too much in there. I'll remove this. Okay, good. Oops. I'll remove. Okay. All right, class. Now, the concept of stationarity, class. In the interest of time, class, please read this. What does it mean, class? Ang sabi dito, class, stationary time series is one whose statistical properties such as mean, variance, autocorrelation are all constant over time. Okay? The mean, the variance are all constant over time. In other words, class, flat-looking series siya. Okay, let's take a look at this as a quick example. Okay, there's a data class, Control C. There's a data that comes preloaded with R called air passengers class. Here, let's load the data. Okay, Control Enter. You should now have here, air passengers, no? So this is just a data frame. This is a vector class, numerical vector lang yan. So let's give it a name, class. Let's change the name of air passengers, mahaba. Let's give it AP. Yan. So you should now have AP. May AP na dapat kayo, class, no? And then, if we print AP, class, notice, class, na time series to, no? And the data starts with January 1949 and ends with December 1960. So this is a 12-year data. Okay, 12-year data of airline passengers in, I think, New York City. Let's plot this, class. Let's plot AP. All right. So take a look at this class. This is the plot of your AP. Okay. May I have just 1 minute lang class? Quick lang, very quick lang. No? Okay. And you notice class that your time series is not constant. Okay. Yung mean niya hindi constant kasi may trend siya pataas, di ba? Pag sinabing mean niya class, ibig sabihin niyan, wala siyang, hindi siya it's not going up, it's not trending up, neither is it going down. Okay? This is a constant mean. This is also, just like in your heteroscedasticity class, constant variance. This is not constant variance. Constant variance is just like this. So this one class is not stationary. Not stationary class. Why? We said that a stationary time series class, okay, a stationary time series, okay, has constant mean and constant variance. Okay, so how do we address this class? And this is the last thing I'll discuss, class. So there are transformations that we need in order to convert this into a stationary time series. Okay, let me illustrate this very quickly lang, and I'll end here, class. Please give me just 1 more minute, class. Thank you. Okay, but if you need to leave class, it's okay. Tapusin ko lang tong pag-illustrate kung paano isang example class ng ano. Okay, create another code chunk class, please. So let's get class, let's say the log, no? I'll call it log AP alt minus is equal to log of AP. Then after that class, I'm going to get diff log AP alt minus, and it's the difference of log AP. And then let's plot class. Let's plot diff log AP. All right, let me share this code chunk with you in the interest of time. Control C, Control V. All right, take a look at this code class. Okay, first we got the log of AP. So that means, class, that the data that we showed a while ago will become different, no? Because it will take the log of each of the values there. Okay, so this is now a new element, class. This is now a new object. And then we get the difference class. The difference class will subtract, okay, the one that I showed you a while ago, class. It will subtract the value today from the value yesterday. Okay, so I'll create this log AP. Okay, you can print this if you want, log AP, log underscore AP. Okay, take a look, class. No, this is the AP a while ago, and then the log, and then diff log AP class, and then let's print diff log AP. Notice, class, it's now different, right? We got the difference of the log plot, and then Control Enter. Let's plot now diff log AP. All right, take a look at this, class. What happened to your AP, class? So nawala, class, yung ano, nawala yung trend, nawala yung perhaps non-constant variance. Okay? So what is it now, class? It's constant mean and perhaps constant variance. We can check that, class. And this is now called your stationary time series. Okay? Stationary time series. And why is this important, class? Why is it important that we understand what a stationary time series is? This is important, class, because we can only use ARIMA. Okay, we can only use the function ARIMA if your time series is stationary. So if your time series is not stationary, class, that's the reason, class, why there is a differencing. So sometimes you need to difference, class, just like this, class, the airline passengers, the AP data. We cannot use ARIMA for that. We have to make use of a difference time series. Here we had two transformations. We took the log and then we took the differencing, and this is the result. So is this stationary, class? Visually, yes, but there are statistical tests to do that. Okay, so let me end there, class. Wow.